Have you ever wondered, how do I get managers to really buy into safety? How do I get upper management to buy into safety? How do I get crew leaders to buy into safety? Everyone is busy. Everyone's got their own agenda. Between quality and efficiency, sometimes safety gets lost in the background. Well, in this episode, I want to talk about something I call the magic safety meeting. This is a meeting that will kickstart your safety assessment and really help get the buy-in you need from managers, supervisors, crew leader, and even the upper management so that they really buy into what you're doing. Well, hey guys, this is David Sawyer. I'm the founder of Port City Training, and this show is Help with OSHA, where I help safety managers like you and HR managers like you do everything you can to prevent accidents and avoid OSHA. Now, speaking of avoiding OSHA, if you've never had an OSHA inspection and you want to get your team prepared, if you have that kind of feeling in your stomach like you're just not where you need to be, check out my free OSHA audit checklist. If you download this checklist, it will help you prepare your company for an unexpected OSHA visit. In fact, it'll show you the roles and responsibilities. It'll teach you how to handle the gatekeeper when it comes to OSHA actually walking in the door. It'll talk through the whole framework from the informal conference all the way back to the walkthrough of the facility and how to communicate with your team and communicate with OSHA so you can negotiate to eliminate fines and citations. This is a course every manager should take, but the checklist is free. So check it out at my website, helpwithosha.com. Have you ever wondered, how do I get management to buy into what I'm talking about as a safety manager? Well, if that's you, if you've had this problem trying to get supervisors and managers to really buy into safety, then this is the episode that you'll want to be paying attention to. I want to unpack something I call the magic safety meeting. The magic safety meeting is the very first step of the safety assessment. So at Help with OSHA, I help companies by walking through something we call the safety steps. And in these safety steps, it'll help take your company from not really knowing what to do with safety all the way to having a proven safety management system that's consistent and actually works. Not only does it meet compliance, but it actually prevents accidents from happening. That's the goal of what we do. Well, the very first step in the safety steps is something we call the safety assessment. And the magic safety meeting is the first step of the safety assessment. So I want to unpack what this is. Every year, at least once a year, you should do a facility-wide safety assessment of your facility. And in the assessment, you're going to be looking at behavior and work areas. So you're going to be looking at how people are acting, the actions are taken, the behaviors are using, the PPE they're wearing. And then you're going to be looking at the work areas for hazards. Blocked fire extinguishers, blocked exits, pallets sitting on their sides, inspections not being done, anything like that. So you kind of have two big categories when you're thinking of a safety inspection. But one mistake managers make is they focus on the safety inspection as just part of safety. And it's not. The safety inspection is worthless if it just stays with the safety department. You've got to get everybody's buy-in, and the best way to get everyone's buy-in is to get their feedback. So I would encourage you, schedule a meeting with your managers so you can get feedback on safety. Now, the best way to do this is to get managers from different departments. You might already have like a core safety team, but you want to have people from production, people from QA, people from maintenance, anybody around the plant, might be warehouse and shipping or people that are operating outside security guards. You want to get everybody in different departments to send a representative, ideally the manager, to come and have a 45-minute meeting. 45 minutes, not an hour, 45 minutes. And the reason I say 45 minutes is that will give everyone a condensed timeline so we know, hey, we're going to get in, we're going to talk about important stuff, and we're getting out. So when they come in, the first thing you want to do is say, hey guys, I'm getting ready to do a safety assessment. I'm going to walk through the entire facility. I'm going to be focusing on behavior, what people are doing, and I'm going to be looking at work areas, right? The hazards in the area. Everyone kind of nod and go, yep, I get that. Okay, why are we here? Well, the reason you're here is because you know your work area better than I'll ever know it. So I need your help. I want to do an exercise. I want you, and this is where you make sure you got pens and paper in front of them, right? I want them to actually think for a minute, brainstorm for a minute. Now, this works best early in the day. But what you want to do is while their brain is still fresh and they're still clicking on all cylinders, you say, I want you to do me a favor. Think about what is most likely going to cause a serious injury at this facility. Think about your department. Think about where you're walking, where you're working.
I found this on the web for a injury at this facility. Check it out.
I want you to think about where is someone most likely going to have a serious accident. Now, this is something that's going to be a hospitalization. It might be an amputation. It might be an eye injury. God forbid it's a fatality. But I want you to get their brain thinking in terms of serious accidents. Where are we most likely going to have a serious accident? And then I want you to tell them, write down 3 on your paper. So the instructions are simple. You're going to have the guys or girls write down 3 places in the plant where someone could have a serious accident. And they're going to be doing this independently. So let's say you got 10 or 12 people in the conference room. You're doing this exercise. They go through and they list 3 items, 3 different ways someone would get seriously hurt on the job. Then you move right into the next question. And the next question is really simple. Where is someone most likely to get hurt on the job? So this is not going to be a serious injury. This is going to be more of a frequent injury. So oftentimes this is a back injury. It's a slip. It's a trip. It's a cut. It's a hand injury. Where is someone most likely going to get hurt? And for this, you want to make sure that you have the person in the room that's actually involved with workers' comp or the person that's carrying employees to the doctor, because that way they can tell you, hey, this is what we've had happen in the past, and they'll know, last year we had 4 people. We had 3 people. We had 2 hand injuries. We had somebody hurt their little finger. Whatever it is, it's an injury. It's not life-altering, but it's a frequent injury. And you want them to list about 5, 6, 7 of these, okay? So ideally now you give them time to process. You don't just want to move on to the next thing. So if it's a 45-minute meeting, the first 5 minutes is laying the foundation. The next 20 minutes is going over this back and forth. Now, you should have 3 serious injuries from every person written down and 5 to 6 not so serious injuries written down on the page. This is where the brilliance comes in. This is where the magic safety meeting really starts to take off. What I want you to do now is you'll hear kind of people talking about things, and when you're walking around, you'll hear it. But I want you to split the people into 2 groups of 6. So you got 6 at one end of the conference table, 6 at the other end of the conference table, and then you say, okay, go over what you guys came up with. And this activity, this little workshop, will get people talking. And that's what we want. We want crew leaders and managers and supervisors talking and thinking about how is somebody going to get hurt? How's a serious accident going to happen? We're not trying to point and blame people and say, well, that's because you're always driving the forklift too fast. No, we're not worried about blaming anybody. We're just trying to get everything out on the table. And then the third part of this, after you've let them talk for about 5 or 10 minutes, you're going to circle back around, and the last end of the meeting, what you're going to do, get up at the whiteboard with a marker, and I want you to write, major injuries, and then go around the room and have people tell you what they came up with. There will be repeats. There'll be hopefully a lot of repeats, and you'll kind of narrow it down. If everybody gives you 3, you'll probably come up with 5 or 6 that are this different serious accidents that could happen. Then under the frequent accidents, so you got serious over here, you got frequent over here, you're going to start listing those out. This is a great group exercise because it gets everybody thinking about it. And at the end of this 45-minute meeting, up on the whiteboard, you've got the most likely serious accidents and the most likely frequent accidents that happen. Now, this is your starting point. When you go out to do your safety inspection, you're going to use this as the glasses you wear as you walk around the facility. It'll help you see the serious accidents. It'll help you look at the frequent accidents and be thinking about it in terms of what you can do to keep people safe. Now, from here, the magic meeting is over. You're going to thank everybody for coming, thank them for their time, and then you make sure to tell them, hey, after the safety assessment, next week we're going to have a follow-up meeting. And I'll go ahead and pull the curtain back on the follow-up meeting. The follow-up meeting is for you to have taken pictures and document these issues that they've pointed out during your safety inspection, kind of take a temperature of where the facility is. And then what we want to do is have this list of items: possible serious accidents, possible frequent accidents, and beside each item, you're going to put a person's name that's in the room with you. And they're going to be the one that's taking ownership over this. So as an example, if it's somebody that's over forklifts and forklifts are a big problem, we go, well, this could be a hazard. Somebody could get hit. There could be a pedestrian that walks out in front of them and they hit them and it's a struck by accident. That could be something that happens. Well, whoever's owning the forklifts, maybe it's your warehouse manager, that person is going to be checking the key indicators for forklift safety. Is everyone trained? We have trained operators. We're doing pre-shift inspections. We have very clear expectations for how people operate the equipment. And we have safety devices. We have signage. We have lights. We have stop signs. We have everything we need so that people are being protected while they are using the forklift. So in the meeting that happens after the magic safety meeting, right? I don't know a catchy name for it, but the meeting that happens after, kind of the continuation meeting, that's where you're going to want to say, okay, hey, these are our priorities. Now, here's why this is so important. I am a huge fan of the 80-20 rule. I believe that 80% of the accidents that happen at your facility are going to come from 20% of the actions and the behavior of the people you're working with. So if we can spot those 20% and fix them and hone them and correct them, then the 80% of accidents are going to go away. That's the goal of the magic safety meeting. We want to get people to buy in because once they say, hey, one of the biggest problems is machine guarding. Well, now that we know that's a problem, we can take steps to fix it. And like my mentor used to say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. But you make a list and you prioritize the list and then you work down the list, giving people ownership over the programs. Okay, we talked about a lot of things today, but I really believe this is one of the best tools you can have in your toolbox when it comes to safety. The magic safety meeting is a way to get people on board so they buy into what you're doing and they see the importance, right? Simon Sinek talked about finding your why. As a safety manager, your why is because I don't want anybody to get hurt at work. And if you're doing your job, OSHA is going to leave you alone. Accidents are going to not happen. People are going to go home the same way they came in. It's good for everybody. So until we talk again, do everything you can to keep the people you work with safe because no one should get hurt at work.